Assalamualaikum and greetings everyone. Today my group and I are going to talk and deliver a presentation on Qadiani and rehabilitation. So without further ado, let's start. The word heresy is usually used by many religious groups, be it from a Christian, Jewish, Hindus, Buddhists, and even in Islam itself. Meaning heresy implies differently according to their belief. And in Islamic context, heresy is defined as a creation or innovation in religious matters. While in Arabic terminology, it is known as bid'ah, which is any innovation that has no roots in the Sunnah practices and was never done by the Prophet Muhammad in the Muslim community. Jabatan Kemajuan Islam Malaysia JAKIM define heresy or ajaran sesat means any teachings or practices brought by Muslims or even non-Muslims who claim that these teachings or practices are Islamic teachings or based on Islamic teachings rather than Islamic teachings that are based on Al-Quran and the Sunnah, also contrary to the teachings of Ahli Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And from the definition, the term heresy provided never directly condemns that a practitioner of heresy has apostatized or murtad. It is only referring to misguidance or deviation of the practice or practitioner of heresy which is against Islam. And according to few records, it was recorded that there were 47 cases of deviant groups from January 2020 until September 2020 in Malaysia. Unfortunately, only 58 of these new religious movements have been identified by JAKIM as heretical organization, while other deviant groups are secretly moving without the knowledge of the community. Qadiani or Ahmadiyya is among the leading group that has spread the teachings of contradict from the teachings of Al-Quran and Sunnah. Since the late 19th century, this group has spread its idea to many Muslim communities, especially around Asia. And therefore, through this video, we are going to reveal the background of group of Qadiani teachings, their deviant teachings, founder and books, as well as identify the techniques of Akidah rehabilitation that can be used to minimize the teachings of Qadiani from spreading even more among the layman of Muslim community.
My name is Anis Nadira binti Muhammad Jalani with the matrix number 1191839. I will continue the presentation with problem statement. Since Mirza Ghulam Ahmad is credited with establishing the foundation for the Qadiani sect in India in the year 1889, and they started to get acceptance in countries other than India at the turn of the 20th century, people will gain more about their knowledge and be blind to follow this teaching. So, in this research, we will provide some techniques to counter this issue.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Natasha binti Abdullah. My matrix number is 1191794. For my first part, I will explain about the research questions and research objective on this research. What are the research questions for the task? Firstly, what is the background of Qadiani teachings in Malaysia? Second, what are the reasons that Qadiani contradicts the teachings of Islam? Third, what are the causes of how people can be influenced by Qadiani's teachings? And fourth, what are the rehabilitation techniques for people who have been involved in Qadiani teaching? To answer the research questions, so there are research objectives. The first one is to identify the background of Qadiani teachings in Malaysia. Secondly, to find out the reasons that Qadiani contradicts the teachings of Islam. Then, to investigate the causes of how people can be influenced by Qadiani's teachings. And lastly, to discover the rehabilitation techniques for people who have been involved in Qadiani teachings.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syada Atirah binti Saidan Elijah Sadani. My matric number is 1191842. I will like to present about background of Qadiani. In 1889, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad founded the Qadiani teaching, or also known as Ahmadiyya teaching in India. The word Qadiani is based on a village where Ghulam Ahmad was born, which is Qadian, while Ahmadiyah is based on the name of the founder of this teaching, Ahmad. He received early education in the religious field from religious teachers who came to teach at his home. This education is described as informal education. Mirza Ghulam Ahmad then worked as a junior officer in the district office in Sialkot, Punjab, between 1864 until 1868. He later went back to Qadian, where he expanded his area of religion. The populace started referring to him when they got into argument with Christian and Hindu missionaries. Additionally, he allegedly has a number of illnesses, including diabetes and hysteria. Mirza first identified himself as the Messiah, Isa al-Masih, in 1891 before identifying as a prophet in 1901. The Muslim community in India was outraged by this action to the point that it led to the Mubahalah, a sworn trial to decide who is right and wrong between Mirza Ghulam Ahmad and Maulana Sanaullah Amritsari. This occurred on April 15, 1907. A year after this incident, on May 25, 1908, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was struck by cholera in Lahore and passed away on May 26, 1908. On March 15, 1948, Maulana Sanaullah passed away about 14 years after the Mubahalah was put into effect.
The arrival of Qadiani in Malaysia in 1906, assisted by Sher Muhammad Khairuddin, police officer from India, worked in Selangor. However, some argue that the teachings of Qadiani cannot be developed and started without the effort of an organization called the Muslim Mission, which originated from the United Kingdom under Khwaja Kamaluddin. From the Muslim Mission, they were able to publish their own magazine under the name of Islamic Review, which then got spread in Tanah Melayu. Rumours said that Zabba was among the readers of the magazine for 22 years, but none of the confirmation the Zabba realized it was from the heretical group called Qadiani. But research found about Zabba had shown an interest to this teaching and was about to spread this teaching in Tanah Melayu. Teaching of Qadiani was first brought by a mubaligh named Husin Iyas in Malaysia in the early 1930s, which is in Batu 20 Geram, Kuala Selangor. Later, this group began to spread far enough into other places such as Batu Caves, Kampung Nakhoda and Serdang in Selangor, Jasid in Melaka, Kedah, as well as Kota Kinabalu and Sandakan in Sabah.
Hi, my name is Anshali Harazak 1191807 and I will be talking about the founder and its follower of this Qadiani teaching. The continuation of Qadiani teaching was started with Maulana Ghulam Hussain Iyas, where he established the Qadi Jama'ah in Klang back to 1934, where only 7 members were recruited at the first congregation in 1936. Mu'alim Zaini Dahlan, a meeting center located at Batu 20 Jeram, consisting of a house wakaf of Qadiani members, gained momentum in 1948 but eventually paralyzed on July 23, 1951. And then the Malay community was slowly influenced after Malaysia independence, as they see the Qadiani and the Islam teaching were similar and made it easier for them to influence the Malay. Baitul Salam, or now known as the Malaysian Ahmadiyya congregation, was built in 1964 on the donated land by 2 of Ahmadiyya's followers, Haji Yusuf bin Omar and Muhammad Zain bin Hassan in Kampung Nakhoda, Batu Cave, to be used at the center of Ahmadiyya. And then, the presence of Qadiani in Sabah. Kunia Abdul Qadir and Muhammad Kubi were the ones who were responsible for it, and then attracted 2 families in Labuan, which are Sukaman bin Ahmad Nasran and Salim Shah Bakri dan Shah, who then donated their land to be used as a mosque to be the center of Qadiani movement there. The teaching continues to spread to Kota Kinabalu by Dr. B.D. Ahmad, who made his home as the center of Qadiani activities in Kota Kinabalu, and then donated his wealth when he returned back to Pakistan. Then it spread to Sandakan, where because of the entry of Haji Muhammad Dantal Murah Yusuf and Haji Yusuf Omar in 1965 enabled Sandakan to become the main center of Ahmadiyya. Then, because of Bashar Ahmad Nassim, this movement was registered under the name Tahrir Al-Jadid Ahmadiyya Muslim Association Sabah in January 1967. Later on, Haji Muhammad Dantal Murah Haji Yusuf, who served as president in 1972, led the Sabah Ahmadiyya Congregation before taken over by Sarifuddin bin Wujing. As it was finalized that the number of Ahmadiyya followers in Sabah was estimated to be 500 people until 1988.
Besides, there are many teachings which is brought by Mirza Ghulam Ahmad in Qadiani teachings. Among them are making claims to be Imam Mahdi. Before Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the Shia groups had first claimed the arrival of Imam Mahdi from among their figures. For example, we can see Shia Sabaiyah regard Ali bin Abi Talib as Imam Mahdi who will return to the world at the end of time. Also, they have other groups claim to have their own Imam Mahdi. As a result, it is not surprising that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, who claims to have made contributions to Islam, also claims to be Imam Mahdi. Then, he claiming to be Isa al-Masih. At first, Mirza's faith in God's Prophet Isa a.s. was initially similar to that of other Muslims. But, at the insistence of his friend, Nuruddin, Mirza claimed himself as Jesus al-Masih. After that, Mirza no longer believed that Jesus the Messiah who will descend is Isa ibn Maryam, but rather the Messiah from among Muslims and followers of the Prophet Muhammad SAW. So, to bolster his argument, he claimed that Isa ibn Maryam had died and had not been lifted up to heaven by God, and a dead person cannot possibly live and return to earth. Next, claim receiving revelation. In this Khutbah Ilham, Al-Utbah Al-Ilhamiyah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said, "This is a book that was inspired by God to me on one of the days of celebration. In fact, it is the truth that God revealed to me." He said again, "Indeed, a revelation came to me from God before the cholera disease was revealed so that I could build a boat with our help and revelation." He claimed that any claims he made were revelations or inspirations from Allah and not from himself. Moreover, among his books are Fatahi Islam, or in English is Victory of Islam. This book recounts Mirza Ghulam Ahmad's first mention of Christians' effort to convert Muslims to their own faith at the time. He claims that darkness has taken over and chaos has become the norm, and due to the human mind absorbing poisonous ideas while scorning good deeds. He claimed to be the one who had been sent by God at the right time to correct evil, revive religion, and establish in it people's hearts. Second, Barahin Ahmadiyah. This book discussing about Ghulam Ahmad wrote the book to revitalize Islam by arguing for the validity of its principle and defending its teachings in response to Christian and Hindu polemics against Islam, as well as atheistic philosophies. However, Ghulam Ahmad's claim to be divinely appointed as the expected Mahdi and Messiah during the writing process. Furthermore, other aspects of the work, however, prove highly contentious within the Muslim community due to the author's messianic claims and claim to be a recipient of revelation.
The difference of Qadiani to the real Islamic teaching. The Qadiani teaching blatantly depart from authentic Islamic teaching. As mentioned before, among the teaching of Qadiani are claim to be Imam Mahdi, claim to be Isa al-Masih, the Messiah, claim to have received revelation, and allegation as a prophet. All of this was contrary to the authentic Islamic teaching. Before, most people who believe in Allah and His Messenger unite under the Al-Quran, fill this world with goodness, and also invite and lead people who want to believe, follow them, to carry out all of the comments in the Al-Quran. A leader, which is Imam Mahdi, will not manifest among the Ummah of Prophet Muhammad in the Akhir Zaman. Rather than being a result of Imam Mahdi's own desires, Allah's destiny, which is certain to occur, is what led to Imam Mahdi's appearance. Even Imam Mahdi himself did not realize that he was Imam Mahdi until after Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala islah it in one night, as said in the following hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Mahdi come from my people, who will be corrected by Allah in one night. Hadith riwayat Ahmad and Ibn Majah. The real Islamic teaching also holds that Isa al-Masih will arrive prior to Qiyamah as a savior to Muslim. We hold the conviction that Prophet Isa is the one chosen by Allah, not just any person. It is a mistake if we, as ordinary people claim to be prophet. Next, the firman instruction that Allah conveyed to the prophet and messenger is what is referred to as revelation, according to terminological definition. A clear definition is Kalamullah Ta'ala al-Munazzila ala Nabiyyi min Anbiya'ihi, word of Allah to His prophet. So, revelation will never be given to random people. Revelation was only revealed to the prophet and messenger. It is very wrong from the side of Islam if a person admits that he has received revelation from Allah, because the last revelation was revealed to Prophet Muhammad only. After the death of Prophet Muhammad, there were no more prophet and messenger, because he was the last prophet and messenger.
Okay, regarding the fatwa about Qadiani's teaching, in 1998, the government of Selangor Gazette issued a fatwa declaring Qadiani's teachings is contradictory to Islam. The Qadiani doctrines and its adherents have been regarded as infidels by Muslim scholars all over the world. Besides, Selangor Department of Islamic Religion declared infidels to the followers of Qadiani based in Batu 20 Jeram, Kuala Selangor on December 15 in 1953 after they confronted DYIM Sultan Selangor as well as some scholars in Selangor in Istana Kuala Lumpur. The issue of Qadiani positions arose on June 1897 when the government, through the Fatwa Committee National Council, declared that Qadiani teaching was illegal. Lastly, the administration of the religion in Negeri Sembilan on July 17, 2013 has also issued a fatwa regarding Qadiani and also declared them as deviating from the Islam.
Hi, it's me again. Now I will be talking about reason people can be influenced by Qadiani's teaching. Well, the main reason of it because someone with religious principle has the potential to influence the community. Okay, looking back to the historical emergence of Qadiani, Islam was facing the fierce opposition in its history since the time of Prophet Muhammad SAW. Not only the external threat but also inside threat as well. Therefore, portraying themselves as fighters for Islam is the best way to gain more followers. Mirza Ahmad used it effectively when doing da'wah against Christian and Hindu practice, and he quickly gained support among the Muslim community. After then, he received a positive response from the community as he published Barahin Ahmadiyah, particularly because some of the content openly opposed non-Islamic teaching and practice.
The issue of Qadiani teachings has been gazetted both in the year of 2000 and 2004 in Selangor and Wilayah Persekutuan respectively as one of the teachings that is completely contradicted from Islamic teachings, and its followers have become an apostate following the terms of Sharia law and civil law. However, although some of the heretical teachings like Qadiani were used to be active, and they are still active until today, throughout Malaysia before the 1980s, many of them them have been eradicated by the religious authorities of the states, and their case has been gazetted by both states and the federal government. And among the legal actions taken are involving fines or imprisonment. The process of rehabilitation or restoration of faith or Akidah has been carried out after the announcement of Gazette. Those offenders who are charged with a faith or Akidah offence will go through a process of repentance or istitabah, which is a process to regain one's faith. In this case is the Qadiani groups. One of the faith or Akidah restoration processes carried out is in the form of negotiation and Akidah counselling services for applicants in order for them to return and accept Islam as their religion in life, or detention in an Akidah restoration center for a specific period of time. The counselling process is a part of the istitabah that needed to be in the module in order to balance the offenders in terms of its mental, physical and spiritual side. And the model is called the intervention crisis approach or Akidah counselling. Throughout this approach, it was created which is to bring the individual that is facing the life crisis in order to first, change the perception of those who face crisis. Second, plan and set up the right objection. Third, solve the crisis by helping it gradually with a counselor.
In addition, faith Akidah rehabilitation can also be expressed with the concept of tasfiyah. In short, the concept of tasfiyah is purification, and from the point of view of the term, it means purifying Islam from foreign things that have infiltrated it. Sheikh Al-Albani was the first scholar to popularize the concept of tasfiyah in da'wah. According to him, tasfiyah is one of the methods that should be used as the basis of religion by all Muslims to return them to the true teachings of Islam in line with what the Prophet ﷺ brought. The implementation of the concept of tasfiyah in Akidah is important to preserve the true Islamic faith and curb the spread of heretical belief such as Qadiani. It cannot be ignored by Islamic scholars because it functions as an antivirus for purifying Islam from heretical teachings.
Conclusion, Qadiani teaching is misguided and deviant from the true teaching of Islam. Even its followers are punished as kafir and expelled from Islam. The founder of this teaching received a loosely structured religious education that encouraged him to formulate his own, obviously erroneous and diametrically opposed to the authentic Islamic teaching. Every Muslim should be aware that formal religious education is required and that we should only learn from teachers who adhere to Ahli Sunnah wal Jamaah in order to prevent the distortion of our belief. In addition, Muslim scholars from all over the world have criticized the Qadiani doctrine and its adherents as being unbeliever. A fatwa declaring Qadiani's teaching incompatible with Islam was also published in 1998 by the government of Selangor Gazette. On 17 July 2013, the Administration of Islam in Negeri Sembilan also issued a fatwa regarding Qadiani and declared them to have deviated from Islamic teaching. So, as a Muslim, we must stay away from heresy and uphold Ahli Sunnah wal Jamaah principle in order to maintain our faith. That's all from me. Thank you.